Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube page, where I'll be previewing every bowl game here in the college bowl season, all 35 bowls, so be sure to subscribe to my page here on YouTube to get all of my videos delivered directly to your inbox. Up next is the Beef O'Brady's Bowl to be played on Friday, December 21st here from St. Petersburg, Florida. The game will pit the Central Florida Golden Knights and the Ball State Cardinals. Central Florida out of Conference USA with a record of 9-4, and Ball State out of the MAC with a record of 9-3. As far as Central Florida goes, they come into the game with 4 losses. 2 of those losses being to Tulsa, 1 loss to Ohio State, and then another to Missouri. So certainly no bad losses on the Central Florida schedule. The rest of the opponents on that schedule they handled pretty easily. If you look back, most of them at their schedule here, they lost 3 of those 4 games by 6 points or less. So I think what you see from the Central Florida team is the ability to compete against virtually anyone in the nation, and also the fact that they have a very well balanced offense. They have over 170 yards, average over 170 yards per game on the ground. Have a good passing attack as well. So what I look for in these games, as far as bowl games go, is is the team a one-trick pony? Do they just run the ball? Do they just pass the ball? Because I think when you have multiple weeks to prepare as an opposing coach, it's a little easier to prepare if the team is one-dimensional. And I honestly don't see that with Central Florida. Now, when you add to that their defense, in my mind, is certainly better than Ball State's. Ball State plays in the MAC. If you watch the MAC games on TV, if you follow the MAC at all, you know that the MAC is definitely an offensive league. We saw a team in Toledo, an offensive team in Toledo, get smacked by Utah State in their bowl game. Utah State, which featured an above-average defense, though. I don't think Central Florida's defense is at the level of Utah State, but I just think that maybe we'll see the trend sort of shift back to maybe the defense is being a little bit better in this bowl season. But with that said, these games are on such a game-by-game basis because what you can't judge with these kids is their motivation to play in this game. I think Central Florida gets a little bit of an added boost because I know the game is not in Orlando, it's in St. Petersburg, but they'll probably have more fans traveling to the game than Ball State will. That's at least what I think going into this game. As far as Ball State goes, Ball State has won 6 in a row. All right, they've won a lot of games in dramatic fashion, and they've played well in close games and games in overtime. Their record in those games bears it out. They come in with they average over 200 yards on the ground coming into the season. Their quarterback, Keith Wenning, I was reading just a couple hours ago, he will start tonight. He's coming off. He did not play the last game of the season for Ball State. So it'll be, again, Ball State played Kent State in their last game, and Wenning did not play in that last game. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes back. He'll start. I guess they'll kind of feel it out and see if he's healthy. I think that could be another issue for Ball State. I'm not sure how healthy Wenning is, and I think he's going to need to be productive in order for Ball State to win, because I know they average over 200 yards a game on the ground. But again, I think that Central Florida defense is maybe a notch above the MAC defenses that they play on a weekly basis. So I think they'll need a little bit more out of Wenning, who's been pretty productive this year as well. I mean, if you look at the stats there for Ball State, they're averaging well over 450 yards a game in total offense. So, but again, we'll see how Wenning comes back. We'll see how productive he can be. In this particular game, I like Central Florida minus the 7 in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl to beat Ball State. I think this is going to be a very, very good game. And this was a tough one for me to pick when I was sort of evaluating the stats. Unfortunately, they have no common opponents. But just judging by their schedule, judging by the fact that UCF has played very well against some top echelon programs, most notably Ohio State. I just like them in this game. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be motivated to play in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl. Both teams haven't had recent bowl success, so that's not really a good thing to go by in this game. But I like Central Florida minus the 7 in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl. Be sure to check out my other previews, and as always, hit me up on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. Thanks, guys.